Yo, what's good, young investors, and welcome back to the channel. As you guys know already, I very recently made a video on managing money, a value-filled banger. So of course, it's only right that today's video deals with the other side of the spectrum, time. You guys have heard me say this plenty before, and it's that time is our most valuable asset. And that's because it is. Our time here is very limited, and no amount of money in the world can ever buy more. So of course, in today's video, I'm gonna give you guys 3 quick things that I personally do to manage my own time, to hopefully give you guys some ideas that you can eventually try out for yourself. But before we get into all that, I wanted to quickly hit you guys with today's gem of the day. And of course, today's gem of the day is take life one day at a time. Build that momentum to help you keep going. And I really don't want you guys to get it twisted either when I say this. I want you guys to plan for what you want and how you're gonna get there. And once you do that, focus on what you can do for yourself every single day to get you where you need to be. Win that daily battle and start the next day off right. You level up very slowly in life once you get started. But once you build that momentum, it's very hard to stop. So of course, that's today's gem of the day. I hope you guys enjoyed that. And lastly, if you guys could do me a huge favor and hit today's video with a quick thumbs up. Every single time you guys like, comment, subscribe, and share the videos, it creates a huge response from YouTube. So of course, thank you. I appreciate all of you. And without further ado, let's get into the gems in today's video. So the first thing that I do to manage my time properly is I write down all the things that I need to do throughout the week, and then I delegate. I used to take things on a day-by-day basis, which did work out for a bit, until it didn't. My plate started to fill up quickly and I was an unorganized mess. I had way too many things going on with no outline for it all. I was constantly forgetting what I needed to do, and things that were really crucial were passing me by. But as soon as I started to plan out my weeks and all the things that I needed to do in that time range, everything changed. We gotta know what we're getting ourselves into, and weekly planning will do just that. I personally think of this list as my battle plan for the week. I write down all the most important tasks for the week first. Things like filming and editing the videos for you guys. And so once I figure out what my biggest tasks of the week are gonna be, I go down to the smaller ones. And these are things like reading, cleaning, washing clothes, and washing the car as well. I want you guys to choose one day out of the week to start planning your big and small goals. I personally do mine every Sunday. This lets me review the past week and start the next one off fresh. And so once I have my big and small goals down, I move on to delegating. And this is basically choosing which day I'm gonna do which things. Delegating personally helps me know where my focus is gonna be on. I constantly have tons of ideas that pop into my head. So knowing what days I'm gonna focus on which things helps me concentrate. And so this delegating part is more so up to you guys and what you guys have going on. So to quickly recap for number 1, choose a day out of the week to start planning your goals. And once you do that, you write down your big tasks first, followed by your smaller ones. And finally, you guys choose what day you're gonna do which tasks. And so, moving on to number 2. The second thing that I do to manage my time is I narrow down my focus. If only you guys actually knew how many times I messed this one up. I used to constantly try to juggle a lot of things at once, and I'd end up with a whole lot of nothing at the end of it all. Trust me when I say this, less is more. I'll hit you guys with a quick story of mine. When I was just starting my journey, I got cocky and figured I'd try it all at once. I was starting a vending machine business, I was drop shipping, and I was starting a blog as well. And honestly, I don't even remember what else I was trying to do at the time. But I'm almost certain that there was actually a few more. But the point is, I was looking for gold. What I was doing though, was digging shallow holes. And once I didn't get the results that I was looking for fast enough, I just moved on to the next. My mistake was, I didn't zone in and really double down on 1 or 2 things. Like I mentioned earlier, I tried doing it all, but ended up with none of it. And I'm almost certain that you guys have actually experienced what I did, or know somebody that's done the same exact thing as well. So let me hit you guys with something real quick. Law number 23 from the 48 Laws of Power states that we need to concentrate our forces. And in this case, I want you guys to focus on one thing at a time with your to-do list. Finish one thing at a time and then move on to the next. This does of course apply to all aspects of life in my opinion. This one is a prime business rule for me. I'll give you guys a quick example with YouTube. The vast majority of channels really mess up from the get-go. They want to be vloggers, fitness channels, gaming channels, all at the same time. They want to feed content to everybody and end up reaching nobody. This is because they're all over the place. I really want you guys to narrow your focus on a few things, build them up, and then move on to the next. It's personally started to work for me. Since I really started to change my attack plan and narrow my focus on a few things, everything's changed. So of course, to recap for number 2, decide what you're going to focus on first. Finish that and then move on to the next. Do one thing at a time on your to-do list. And finally, for all my YouTube family, focus your content on 1 or 2 things, at least at the very beginning. So the third and final thing for today's video is I go to sleep early and I wake up early. This one was an absolute game changer for me. I used to think that working long nights and early mornings was the best way to manage my time, but that simply just didn't work for me. I found myself to be so tired the next day that I just could not focus on the task at hand. It sounds dope to want to flex and say that you work long nights and early mornings, but it takes a toll on you really fast. And of course, it does eventually make you less productive. I remember reading a Wiz Khalifa quote that I really liked, and it goes like this: I used to think that sleeping late was cool until I realized that waking up early is a real boss move. And honestly, I agree with him. When you wake up earlier, you'll notice that you have more time to do what you need to do throughout the day. I personally try to get the hardest things done earlier on in the day. Things like video planning and editing. This of course opens up more time to do other things throughout the day. Look you guys, real talk, I don't want you to go with all the noise. Going to sleep late and waking up early won't really help you guys much in the long run. You're just gonna be way too tired to function correctly. And trust me, I've been there. I want you guys to experiment and really find your sweet spot. And what I mean by this is to find out how many hours of sleep you need to function correctly throughout the day. For some of us, it might mean 6 hours of sleep, and for others, 8. We're all different. And finally, find a bedtime that works for you and stick to it. Start to get your body accustomed to a certain hour for you to go to sleep. And for me personally, it happens to be 11 to 11:30. I get my 8 hours in and start the next day off early. So to quickly recap for number 3, find your sweet spot. Figure out how many hours of sleep your body needs to function correctly. And secondly, condition your body to go to sleep at a certain time. And set yourself a bedtime that you know you're gonna stick with. And before I end the video off, I wanted to quickly hit you guys that have stuck with me to the end with a bonus tip. And it's don't write tons of things to do on your list when you're starting off. I made this mistake when I was just starting to do my list. I'd write down tons of things to do, and at the end of the day, I wouldn't even finish half. Start with a few things first. Keep it small. Get used to it and gradually add more as you get better. Don't overwhelm yourselves when you get started. That's a huge no-go. And so with that, I wanted to quickly say thank you to all of you guys that have stuck with me and the channel day in and day out. And trust me when I say this, it means the world to me. So thank you. I appreciate all of you. And finally, beat the odds and do the numbers. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.